The bustling marketplace buzzed with life, a symphony of vendors hawking wares and children's laughter echoing through the square. Yet at its heart a profound stillness held court. Gautama Buddha, serene and radiant, sat beneath a Bodhi tree, his presence a beacon of tranquility. Suddenly the peace was shattered. A disheveled businessman, face contorted in rage, stormed towards the Buddha, spewing venomous insults and accusations. The crowd gasped, their collective breath held hostage by the sudden tension. This was no ordinary disagreement. This was a torrent of pain and fury directed at the epitome of peace. The air crackled with anticipation. How would the Buddha, the embodiment of compassion, react to such raw, unveiled hatred? Would he respond in kind, fueling the flames of anger, or would he meet the businessman's venom with the same gentle wisdom that had captivated millions? The Buddha, however, remained unmoved. His expression, a serene mask of compassion, did not flicker. Like a mountain unyielding to the fiercest storm, he absorbed the businessman's rage with unwavering stillness. His silence was not indifference, it was a conscious choice, a deliberate act of peace. He looked upon the enraged man not with judgment, but with understanding, his eyes reflecting the tormented soul beneath the businessman's fury. The businessman, fueled by years of perceived injustice, had finally snapped. His business had crumbled, his family had fractured, and he was teetering on the precipice of despair. He had come to the marketplace seeking solace, a glimmer of hope in the face of his crumbling world. Instead, he found the Buddha, a figure who seemed to embody everything he had lost: peace, serenity, and an unwavering faith in the goodness of life. The businessman's anger was not truly directed at the Buddha, it was the bitter outpouring of his own shattered spirit. He saw in the Buddha's calmness a painful reminder of his own turmoil, a living testament to the peace that eluded him. His insults, laced with venom and despair, were a desperate plea for acknowledgement, a cry for help disguised as an attack. The Buddha, in his infinite wisdom, recognized this. He saw beyond the businessman's rage, penetrating the layers of pain and resentment to the wounded heart within. He understood that anger, like all emotions, was fleeting, a passing storm that could not dim the inherent light within. And so he met the businessman's fury with the most powerful weapon he possessed: unconditional compassion. Silence stretched taut and heavy in the bustling marketplace. The businessman, breathless from his tirade, watched the Buddha expectantly, his chest heaving. He waited for a retort, a defense, some sign of anger or annoyance. But the Buddha's expression remained unchanged, a tranquil oasis in the storm of the man's rage. Slowly, imperceptibly, a shift occurred. The businessman's anger, like a river reaching a vast ocean, began to dissipate. The Buddha's silence, his unwavering serenity, acted as a mirror, reflecting the man's own fury back at him. It was a confrontation not of words, but of presence, a stark contrast between the chaos within and the peace that resided just beyond it. As the businessman's anger subsided, a wave of shame washed over him. He saw the absurdity of his outburst, the futility of attacking someone who refused to be his enemy. The Buddha's silence was not a sign of weakness, but of strength, the strength to remain rooted in compassion even when confronted with aggression. In that moment, the businessman realized the depth of his own suffering and the futility of perpetuating it. A hush fell over the marketplace as the Buddha finally spoke, his voice a soothing balm on the raw tension.
"My friend," he began, his tone gentle yet firm, "you seem to be carrying a heavy burden. Why not put it down for a while and rest?" His words were not a rebuke, but an invitation, a compassionate hand reaching out to pull the businessman from the depths of his despair.
The businessman, disarmed by the Buddha's unexpected kindness, felt his anger melt away, replaced by a wave of exhaustion. He had spent years clinging to his rage, nurturing it like a toxic flower. Now, in the presence of true compassion, he realized the futility of his burden. It was not the Buddha he had been attacking, but himself, his own capacity for peace and happiness. A single tear rolled down the businessman's cheek, a tear not of anger, but of release. He had come to the marketplace seeking solace, and he had found it not in the acquisition of material possessions, but in the unexpected kindness of a stranger. The Buddha's smile, radiant and pure, seemed to illuminate the entire marketplace, washing away years of accumulated pain and resentment. The crowd watched in awe as the businessman, his face etched with a newfound serenity, sank to his knees before the Buddha. He had come seeking a fight, a target for his rage, but he found something far more profound: forgiveness. Not the forgiveness that condones wrongdoing, but the forgiveness that releases the forgiver from the shackles of their own anger.
The Buddha's unwavering compassion had cracked open the businessman's hardened heart, allowing a glimmer of light to penetrate the darkness within.
It was a moment of profound transformation, not just for the businessman, but for everyone present. The crowd, witnessing the power of forgiveness firsthand, felt their own hearts soften, their own burdens lighten. News of the businessman's transformation spread like wildfire through the kingdom. People were touched by the story, inspired by the possibility of finding peace even in the face of adversity. The Buddha's teachings, once confined to the confines of monasteries and temples, began to permeate the fabric of everyday life. The seeds of compassion, sown in the fertile ground of forgiveness, had taken root, their tendrils reaching far and wide. The day the Buddha smiled at the angry businessman was not just about one man's journey from rage to redemption. It was a powerful lesson in the transformative power of forgiveness. It taught that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but the ultimate act of strength. It is not about condoning wrongdoing, but about freeing ourselves from the shackles of our own anger and resentment. True forgiveness, as demonstrated by the Buddha, comes from a place of understanding and compassion.
It recognizes that we are all capable of both great and terrible things, and that holding on to anger only perpetuates suffering.
When we choose to forgive, we are not excusing the actions of others, but we are choosing to release ourselves from the pain they have caused. The businessman's transformation is a testament to the power of forgiveness, to heal not just the receiver, but also the giver. When we let go of anger, we make space for peace and compassion to enter our lives. And in doing so, we not only transform ourselves, but we also inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of kindness and understanding that can spread far and wide.